Before this video starts, if your Minecraft name is SSUNDEE, then please click off this video. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's get into it! As of completing this video, it is the last episode of InsaneCraft, so this method might not be able to be used because of InsaneCraft ending. And also, this video is just about a fictional block game. Do not take this seriously. This is not meant to harm anyone. It is just a way to trap a video game character. Now with that out of the way, let's start this video. Alright, so who is SSUNDEE? Well, he's a YouTuber, but for this context, he is one of 5 main members in a server called InsaneCraft. The 4 of our members are called Henry, Sigils, Biffle, and Jerome. Basically, all of them try to fight this guy, a guy named SSUNDEE. They lose a lot of the time, but sometimes they win. But that's very rare now. But today, I have a way that I can actually, defeat him. But first, what is the definition of defeat? Well, it is to win a victory over something in a battle or some contest, overcome or beat. So, how do we defeat SSUNDEE? We kill him? We kill him? We kill him? Alright, so if it's not kill him, then what else do we do? Well, I'm glad you asked. We need to trap him in a prison. And before you ask, no, this prison is not inescapable. It's not hard. There are ways that you can break out of it. Ways that I know of. And cannot fix. But there are ways to prevent these ways from happening. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the main gizmos that will help us trap SSUNDEE. So, what is spatial storage? Well, it's basically a thing where we can store a building in the void. But how is that useful to us? Well, I got one answer for you. We can store entities, aka things like ourselves, like players. But how in the world are we gonna get out if there's no player on the other side? Because this is a single player world. Well, I got one answer for you. Teleportation devices, like house pets, dislocators, and another thing I'll get into in a bit. But yeah. But then, isn't it pointless to build this? Because a player could have a teleportation device on them and they could just get out. But, well, that's where the next gizmo comes in. It will help us get rid of the player's items. Let's get into it. Now, what is the player interface? Well, it can help us steal items from players. And you might remember this back in InsaneCraft. And this is because I think this is how it went. Henry tried to use the item or the player interface on SSUNDEE, and it backfired. Or SSUNDEE just used it on Henry for revenge or something. I don't really remember. But the player the player interface will help us steal items from SSUNDEE. And this will get rid of all his items, which means that it'll be much easier to kill him and to put him in the jail. So this is the first setup. And basically, it just takes all the items and puts them in this chest, which is great. But you're probably saying, could you just add item cables all around? And I'm glad you asked, because that is the second setup. But there is one slight problem. And that is, it is very glitchy. Let's get some wood and I'll show you. So, yeah, you see it's glitching out? Well, this is part of my testing, and yeah, I think there are items in the item cables, but I'm not really sure. So, basically, it's better to just use one item cable, because it's already pretty fast enough. Let me get all the wood. Look at this. It's still pretty fast. If you actually did use this on SSUNDEE, he would probably not see it coming. So, yeah, that is the player interface. But now you're asking, how are we going to put SSUNDEE in the jail or the spatial storage? Well, that's the next item. So, what is the Mirror of Corruption? Well, the Mirror of Corruption allows us to set a point. So, when it is used, it will fire a laser at the player, killing them, and wherever the point you choose will be their new spawn point. But you're probably saying, it's just a regular stain pass lane. And you would be correct. That is because the main mod for this, the Lost Infinity Stones, is not publicly out. So we have to guess. But thankfully, we already have a pet that we could set a sort of point, the home pet. So does it work? Yes! So if it does work cross-dimensionally, it means we could do a lot. Well, basically, instead of having the spawn points be about right here so that we could press the lever and put the player or SSUNDEE in the dimensional thing, instead of doing that, we could just set it at the dimension. So yeah. And that are the 3 main gizmos, and now we're gonna get into how to set them up to trap SSUNDEE. Alright, here we go. Before we get on with the main contraption, I want to talk about the true only main weakness that I know of. And you might be thinking, it's something probably very complex that or overlooked. Well, it's not that, and let me show you what it is. It is the injection. But not just the injection, well, not specifically the injection, because this is a specific injection. The infinity one, or anyone with the portal power. Basically, the portal power makes it so that this is useless because you can't get rid of injections and you could just portal out of your situation. But how would you get rid of it then? Well, there's one way that I know of. One way that I know of. Maybe not like the only way, but beg. Ask him like, hey, SSUNDEE, before we fight, could you take off your ejection? Now, it might not work, but if it does, oh boy are we lucky, because then we would be able to trap him. The poor beast would work because it has the main injection. Any injection without the portals, well, you're fine then. But if they do have the portals, then yeah, it's game over for you. But yeah, now that we've talked about the main weakness of this setup, we will talk about how to set everything up. Alright, so with all 3 of the main gizmos, now we're gonna see how we could defeat SSUNDEE. First of all, this zombie is SSUNDEE, basically. This target's dummy. So, we would use the player interface on him, we would bound the player interface to SSUNDEE, and we would turn on the lever, stripping all his items. Then we would use the Mirror of Corruption, either putting him right here or in spatial storage. And then, yeah, that's it. That's how you trap SSUNDEE. But before you go, here's how to credit me for this resources. Alright, so how to credit me? Well, if you're a regular person, then just put the link of this video in the description if you're going to use this as a resource for your video. But if you're a SaintCraft member, ask SSUNDEE to build a statue of me. Well, yeah, just a humble little statue. That won't be destroyed. I don't want it to be destroyed. But basically, just for credit, to see that I actually beat him. And also, if you do use this, don't trap him forever. I feel like you should have like build a statue, be like sort of like things you have to coincide with if you want to be released. So yeah, but that's it. That's how to defeat SSUNDEE, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Before you leave, make sure to like, then subscribe, and then if you want to, join my Discord server. It's pretty cool. But yeah, with that out of the way, thank you for watching. Goodbye.